Good evening. Hello. Welcome to another live edition of The Wrap right here on the Fike Media Network YouTube channel. Happy Monday evening to you all as we're back here to recap the highs and lows of Monday Night Raw from the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden, as the road to WrestleMania 42 continues. I'm Keila Cash, and as you can see tonight, Salty Scott Young is not here this evening. He is out. He is busy. He's making that moolah, and I appreciate him for it. Hopefully, he'll be back next week as we're inching closer to WrestleMania Saturday and Sunday. But pitching in tonight is one of my favorite people. And I do love the fact that somehow every year he does sneak his way onto a WrestleMania related episode of The Wrap to give his 2 cents. I love his insights. I love his thoughts from the Dynamite Show, from the Fike Media Network family. I bring to you the one, the only Grandpa Dez, Paul Fontaine. Welcome back, Paul.
Thank you. A little bit of salt and pepper, Paul, Grandpa Dez. So it's Salty Scott, salt and pepper, Grandpa. There we go.
Keeping the salty theme alive, which I appreciate. So, Paul, it's great to have you here this evening. And I want to get your ancillary thoughts on the road to this year's WrestleMania, how you feel about the build so far, and your expectations heading into Vegas in a couple of weeks.
Well, as you may or may not know, I am going to be in Vegas. I'm not committed to going to WrestleMania yet, although I will say the last couple of weeks has gotten me a lot more interested in the card. And, I want to go. I'll say that. So I don't want to pay, whatever the cost is right now. So if I can get a good deal on tickets, I definitely will try to find a way to get there. I'm going with my son, who's 28. And the only other WrestleMania he's ever been to was for his 18th birthday, which was 10 years ago. So it would be kind of cool to do that again. And that was in Dallas. This will be in Vegas. So I've never been in the T-Mobile Arena. The stadium that they're doing it in, Allegiant. So I'm, but I do think like like a month ago, I was really looking forward to Roman and Punk, and then pretty much nothing else. And although at that point we weren't even really sure, like Cody and Roman, I guess we kind of figured out. We did the Elimination Chamber post-game show, and that's when, that match was made. But even then we were thinking, well, maybe it'll be a multi-person, right? But I thought they've done a really good job building that. Brock and Oba is, I think, in my opinion, has overshadowed everything. And that's the one I really want to see. And then you've got, Becky and AJ, they've done a really good job with, I think, and Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre. And there's some of the other undercard stuff, hasn't been great, but you can't say they haven't built it. It's just whether, how interested you are in like the 2 women's title matches, that multi-women tag team title match that they're building. I mean, that's one that we all saw coming like probably 3-4 months ago. So even though it hasn't even officially been announced yet, it's not like it's coming out of the blue. The Penta match that they made tonight, obviously that's out of the blue. And the Gunther Seth match, which we'll talk about, I mean, that is completely out of the blue, but it's also their hands were kind of forced. So that's a good match though. And, so it's kind of like one of those AEW matches where, like they just announce it the week of the show and it's like, oh, well, there's no real reason to care about it, but it's gonna be a hell of a match. It's kind of Gunther and Seth, right? So that's kind of the way I'm looking at all that.
Yeah, I think that in the last month or so, they've tried to ramp things up heading into WrestleMania. I think that the trappings of the show has been same location, second year in a row, very high ticket prices that people weren't going to fork over until you discounted tickets towards the tail end of WrestleMania season. As you get closer to the date, you do see those tickets moving a little bit. We have John Cena now being the host of both nights of WrestleMania, which should move those tickets a little bit more. But for all of the build or lack thereof, and it's been a lot of slapdash stuff, some things have been beyond WWE's control in terms of injuries and things that they can't control. But the controllables that they can't control, they've had to do some redirections here and there, had to make some adjustments. And I go to what Cody Rhodes said recently during an interview, that bell to bell, this might be one of the best WrestleManias of all time. And if the performers can go out there on both nights and outperform the creative of it all, then this could be one of the best manias ever. I go back to a very sleeper WrestleMania, WrestleMania 19 in Seattle back in 2003, is not regarded as, oh my God, an all time amazing WrestleMania in terms of hype. But when the show came, when it went down, it was one of the best manias ever. So I do foresee, when we look back on this maybe 5 years or 10 years down the road, this could be one of the best WrestleManias ever, despite the build for this year's show.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And it's kind of the opposite of what we've had the last few years, where, like we've had a great build in a lot of cases, and then the card itself hasn't delivered. So perhaps, we'll get the opposite of that. And I think at the end of the day, like when you're looking back on something, you'd rather have the show with the great matches, as opposed to right now, people are complaining about the build, some people. But then we may look back at it a couple months later and say, hey, that was one of the better cards of the year. So, I'll take the latter, in hindsight, but in the lead up, you kind of want that build.
Yeah, you want the storytelling to match the build, of course, but if we can get great matches, considering everything we've gone through to get here, I'll take the win as well. And I have to mention this as well before we dive into the meat and potatoes of the episode of Monday Night Raw going down from MSG. I'm a visual person. I'm all about graphics. And I did read the rumblings about the marketing for this was WrestleMania in terms of how do we promote the show graphically speaking, in terms of our posters and our visual effects. I will say, looking at each match card unveil itself for these individual matches, this show has 5 different personalities in terms of theme. And it is giving me a lot of, what the hell is this show exactly? What is the aesthetic for this year's WrestleMania? Is it apocalyptic? Is it apocalyptic? Is it Tron? Is it Mario Brothers Galaxy? Is it the end of times? What is the theme? Because I see 15 different graphics for this damn show.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that too. And I'm not really I don't really understand what any of that stuff that you just mentioned even is. I just know looking at it, it's like, okay, this is different. Like, why is there a different style graphic for Rhea and Jade than there is for Cody and Randy? I don't understand. Normally it's all going to be the same. So my guess is probably all sponsorship tie-ins somehow. And they're going to maximize if they can get a match that's presented to you by this company and brought to you by that company, and then in the theme of this company, and get like money from all 3 of those for every single match. They'll figure out a way to do that.
Listen, it's assaulting my eyes.
Yeah,
in all honesty, it's a lot to take in, and they need to fix this. The last year was very simple: cards, poker, there you go, blackjack, playing cards, graphics. They alternated, lovely. This year, I don't know what's going on graphically speaking, but we move. I will try to find a way to get through this as well, but I cannot wait until the noted Emmy Award nominated Unreal. I can't believe I'm saying this. It is nominated for 3 sports Emmys. They might win. Very strong possibility. Can you imagine Paul Levesque, Emmy Award winner, celebrating this road to WrestleMania for next year? Because Lord knows this is going to be a tale to end all tales.
Outstanding achievement in documentary filmmaking, I think is what they called it.
Yes, long form, serialized
documentary. I don't know what we're doing, because that shows as big of a work as the one we just watched. So it's not a documentary. Come on.
Well, see, Paul, their out is serialized. It is a
True. True.
serialized documentary series.
But we heard from Rebecca Quinn and Colby Lopez, so that's why it's a documentary.
Yes, we hear their
Yeah.
government name, so therefore
Yeah.
it's real and it's long form, and they've done a great job editing and putting it together. But I've really hit the prophecy. I said one day WWE would get Disney money, and now they're getting nominated for Emmys. It
Hey.
really has happened.
Yeah, and poor Vince is Voldemort is on the sidelines crying a fit because he didn't get the Emmy.
Oh, I know Kevin Dunn's having a fit right now too.
Oh
Like
yeah.
all of my camera jumps and cuts didn't get me this. No,
No.
sorry.
Who's the guy? Leaf Fitting. He's the guy that's finally going to bring him their Emmy. He got them for
Yes,
ESPN too, right?
he
Or no,
did.
didn't he make up like
He
wasn't there like
did.
some, yeah.
He did. He made up names
Yeah.
and then he had to basically rescind all the awards. He
Yeah,
cheated the
so we're
system.
going to get all these like WWE Hall of Famers are going to get credits for these Emmys. They don't even have anything to do with the show. It's like, hey,
Exactly.
Billy Gunn got an Emmy.
Just getting producer credits for no reason. That
Yeah.
actually happened. I read the article. I'm like, dude, are you for real? Yes, he actually did that. So hopefully he's not doing that in WWE. Maybe he's disqualified from being in the running for these
Ooh,
awards.
maybe.
Possibly, maybe. All righty. So let's get to some WWE talk. Let's talk about tonight's Monday Night Raw going down from MSG in New York City. We kick things off with the American Nightmare, the undisputed WWE champion Cody Rhodes. And he wants to talk about what Randy Orton's been talking about recently, but he's immediately interrupted by future WWE Hall of Famer Stephanie McMahon, of all people. And even Cody's like, what the hell are you doing out here? Why here now? Interrupting my promo. And she talks about, hey, I'm a part of a famous family. I'm a McMahon. My grandfather built this arena. Really? Did he? Because I think it predated Vince Sr.
Yeah.
But I'll let it slide in this instance. So she talked about being a kid in the crowd and know what it's like to be a generational talent, to be from a famous family, that her and Cody and Randy can all relate to this. But what Randy can relate to is being vicious, being diabolical, being evil. Can Cody relate to that? Can he get down and dirty? Can he tap into his dark side to face this Randy Orton at WrestleMania? And Stephanie says, I don't think you can do it. Now, your father, Dusty Rhodes, so he can get down and dirty with the best of them. He can get really grimy when need be. I don't think you have that in you. And Cody says, listen, I know what I got to do. I know Randy Orton for a very long time. I was his babysitter when he was drooling in the backseat of a car when he couldn't have his ish together all these years ago. So I know what it's like to be the student. I know what it's like to be the teacher. I know what it's like to be in this moment of main eventing WrestleMania multiple times. And you can say that I'm not like my father. Well, Stephanie, you're definitely not like your father. You're not one and the same either.
She
That
said,
guy.
"Oh, thank you, Cody." Oh no, she didn't.
No, she didn't. Instead, we got a ooh and a ah from the crowd at that mere subliminal message. And then Stephanie proceeds to give him the weakest slap that I've seen from her in a very long time. Like, girl, that did not land at all. That fires Cody up. And he's basically like, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your advice. I will take that to heart. And I thought this was very odd, but I will say this: Stephanie has intimate knowledge of what Randy Orton can do. As Cody alluded to, some of the stuff Randy has done, we can't show y'all on WWE programming. You're going to have to look it up on YouTube. So I like that leaning into the history of that. It made sense. It's better than Jelly Roll providing inspiration to Cody at this point in time.
Yeah, it was weird. Like I like Steph, so I was, when she came out, I was like, "Oh, this is cool." I wasn't expecting it, and she can cut a good promo, even if the material isn't great, like her delivery usually is. So that's fine. This was bizarre. Like I don't really, unless like that's who Randy's been talking to on the phone. And the funny thing is like we on the figure four wrestlingobserver.com message board, there's like a thread going on with, like who's on the phone, and everyone's putting up these random pictures of people on the phone, as jokes. And I actually put one up with Stephanie McMahon today, and like before, like this was this morning, and I was, as a joke, like it's like, but then, there's more than one royal family. She's bringing up family, like, um, it wouldn't it'd be closer to the worst than the best, but it wouldn't be the worst idea in the world. Like, obviously, there have to be something else to it as well, like, and maybe Triple H, like, like, they're gonna do some sort of offshoot of the corporate thing again. I don't know, or again, like, because I don't know who Randy's been talking to, but it's gotta be something big. They didn't really lean into that at all, though, so I don't know, like, it almost, when it was all said and done, it almost came off like the exact question like Cody asked her when she first came out was the reason why she was out there. It was like, yeah, we're at MSG, so I thought I'd be cool to do a promo here. Like, that's almost like what at the end of it all came off, because I don't really think we got any further in the story at all, based on all of this. Other than I did like the callback to her slapping Dusty. And then, Dusty got fired like right after that.
Yes.
And I think the reason the slap was lighter is because like Steffi was giving people concussions with those slaps.
Yeah.
So you can't really be doing that to your WrestleMania main eventer. Yeah, her and her husband both today were like getting in the middle of WrestleMania main eventers. So yeah, it was odd. I mean, it'll get people talking for sure, but again, I'm not really sure. I thought they've done a really good job the last month or so with Cody and Randy, and this was maybe the weakest thing they've done since the match was made. I
Yeah.
can't. Yeah, but we got to see Steph, so that was cool.
Yeah, I enjoy stuff too. If the material is hitting, I'm here for it. And in spots, it was for
Mhm.
sure. And at other points, I just wondered, why are you here? Because it was a little perplexing. But we do have insight into the voices, and that she did mention that Randy Orton is listening to a specific voice. Now they're
Mm.
going to be teasing this up into WrestleMania, I presume, that we're going to figure out who is this mysterious voice that Randy is listening to. Could it be Dwayne, to play into everything from last year? Because if they can get him for next year's WrestleMania, and we know if Saudi Mania is a go, we know they got to get the biggest names you can possibly get for this show. And you do have Cody versus Rock right there. And if Randy's talking to him, that is your one option that you can go with. If it's not, then you can always go with the plan B they can make up on the day of the show if necessary, because I do wonder who else could you possibly have in this role as the voice that Randy is listening to.
Yeah, I'm kind of like Cody. I mean, Rock would be the best one if they could do it. I know he's filming Jumanji right now, so I'm not even sure if he could actually even be at Mania. The name I have in my head that I think it might be is Chris Jericho. Um,
Hmm.
but I've also heard rumblings lately that he may be going back to AEW after all this. So, like, who knows? And then the only, my very first thought was Ric Flair, and I don't really want to see that.
No, no, I'm good with
Um,
that. Yeah.
so I mean, and then it could be like Triple H and or Stephanie McMahon, as part of the whole corporate thing. So I don't know. Um, I if I had to put money on it, I'd say it's Jericho right now. That's what I'm gonna say.
Interesting choice. My one choice that I would not want to see would be Shane McMahon. Lord,
Hmm.
no. So the sooner we find out who it is, who they can afford, who is willing to come in, who can come in terms of availability, we shall see. But an intriguing way to start the show as we get to our championship match of the night for the World Tag Team titles. It was the Usos with horrible new music versus Division's Austin Theory and Logan Paul in a street fight for those tag team titles. So, Paul, your thoughts on the remixed version of the Usos theme song? Because, dear Lord, why?
I just hated it. I don't know why they did this with them. They did it with Stephanie Vicara not too long ago. I Why fix what isn't broken? That's all I gotta say. Like, it's dumb.
It's just ridiculous. Just go out there and yeet if that's what you want to do. Let's not do
Or or
lame.
or go to the original Uso, like,
Yes.
down since day one-ish, down since, like, just do that. Like, it's easy. It's right there.
Yes. Why y'all mad with CFOs? Now, what's going on? Like, Lord. So I hope this had a trend alert of them just getting rid of all the CFO songs. Please, I don't
Yeah,
need that.
yeah.
But
I mean, I will say, like, I got mad when they changed Becky's music. I knew why they had to, and I'm kinda into that music now, so, I mean, maybe I'll get into this, but, like, wouldn't put money on it.
no,
It's not very good.
no, it's not very good. I'm never gonna
Yeah.
bop to this ever. So they don't have
Yeah.
to worry about me jumping and jiving at WrestleMania. I'm good with that. So I am looking at an update from Lady B.
Ooh, yeah.
So she has scoops. She says The Rock
Mm.
posted on IG tonight that they wrapped on Jumanji. So time will tell unless Scorsese has him on lock next to film.
Isn't
Good
isn't
point.
Martin Scorsese busy doing shitty television shows on Fox?
He
Oh,
might be. It just depends
oh,
on
I
his
just watched the
availability.
worst the worst thing I've ever seen on network television, that he was a part of, that was just aired last week.
Oh my
It was so
goodness.
bad. It was called, Martin Scorsese Presents The Saints. Apologies to anyone who is a fan of that garbage, but I look like something that I just saw in Sunday school, which is great for Sunday school, but it's not on network television. I don't know what they were. Anyways, sorry. I saw his name and I got set off.
You got triggered. I am so
Yeah.
sorry. My apologies.
That's
But
okay. No,
that
no, no.
is
Yeah.
but
I
that
I
is a
I
scoop.
posted about it in the Discord, in the TV thread.
Well, that is a scoop that The Rock has wrapped Jumanji. We know
Yeah.
he's done
Yeah.
Mirana, the live action version. That's another project that's done. So he might find the
He
time
could
to be in
just
Las
do a
Vegas.
phone-in promo too, like a literal phone-in promo they could put on the big
Yes.
screen.
Yes.
Like,
Cinematic style.
yeah, Cody's on or Randy's on the phone, and then, oh, we get the big screen, and, oh, there's, scroll up, and there's Dwayne on the phone. It's like, like totally something he would do.
Absolutely to be a troll. So back to
Yeah.
the match at hand. It was all right for what it was. LA Knight was on commentary trying to intervene if need be. And then I Show Speed, who's been cursed by Danhausen recently, was in the crowd with Logan Paul's mother. So Logan Paul is going to use his mom. Mom has brass knucks that she's going to smuggle to her son to knock out one of the Usos. I Show Speed is trying to be the voice of reason, saying, please don't do this. You don't have to cheat. And so when we have LA Knight trying to intervene in this brass knucks battle, Logan Paul drags I Show Speed over the barricade onto the floor, and the brass knucks goes to I Show Speed. And because of Danhausen's curse, he is going to accidentally knock out LA Knight with brass knucks. He freaks out, he runs away, and he conveniently lays the brass knucks on the mat for Logan Paul to get. He loads up his hand. At one point, he knocks out Jimmy Uso. Jay goes on the outside. And in doing so, this allows Austin Theory to drag his carcass over onto the dead kayfabe body of Jimmy Uso to become the new World Tag Team Champions. Welcome to my personal hell heading into this year's WrestleMania.
Yeah, I thought the match was actually, it was going along pretty good until they got to the last couple minutes and the screw job that they, had to do to get to where, the finish was going to be. I don't know what this sets up for Mania. If I had to guess, I'd assume maybe like a 6-man where I Show Speed's going to team up with the Vision, and then LA Knight's going to team up with the Usos. That's just kind of like a throwaway match, but what else are you going to do? I Show Speed has been around the last few weeks, so I assume he's involved somehow.
Yes, he's been putting in work at the Performance Center, getting primed for a match, presumably at WrestleMania, as Curry Head comes in asking Paul one of life's great questions in the live chat, and Paul answers accordingly. So I
He's
appreciate that
talking
as
he's talking
well.
moonshine in Vegas.
I love it as you guys hang out and get ready for this show in a few weeks' time. So basically, we have them win the tag team titles for them not to defend the tag team titles at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean, unless like, I suppose they could do like a unification match with Priest and Truth. That would be probably like on the Mania after Raw or the SmackDown before Mania. I don't think that would be an actual Mania match. But it's the only other thing I can think of. I don't know what the deal, like why they need belts, unless, maybe, Braun is going to be back at some point and then they'll try to get a belt on him and then they can all have belts. I don't know. I'm trying to come up with logic for something that really makes no sense.
Makes zero sense. I just know that
Yeah.
once upon a time, I had a dream that it would be the Usos versus the Lucha Brothers at WrestleMania. That ain't happening.
No.
And I can put that to rest now. Maybe it will happen at next year's WrestleMania. Won't be this year. I can put the pin on that right now and say what's not happening in a couple of weeks' time at Mania. But Penta will be represented. We'll talk about him in just a moment. But let's get to Liv Morgan calling out Stephanie Vaquer. And this feud, it's on site. That's what Liv says. Anytime you want to talk about me, hey, it's on site. You touch my family, it's on site. If you touch Daddy Dom, it's on site. It's on site. So Stephanie, taking that mantra to heart, goes after Liv Morgan. I do love their scraps. I mean, they lay it
Mhm.
in. It's physical. You can really tell they are really putting their all into the physicality aspect of this feud. You feel the emotion and you feel the kayfabe hate between them, which I appreciate. And then Roxanne Perez comes back on behalf of Liv Morgan to go after Stephanie, and they lay her out with Oblivion on the steel chair, and the heels stand tall to wrap up this segment. I would love more verbal back and forth between the two of them to build their WrestleMania story a bit more. But I will say that in terms of going out there, maximizing their minutes, putting as much hot sauce as they can on this match, they've done a really good job. And I think they will have one of the better, most heated matches for whatever night of WrestleMania they land on.
Yeah, I think I talked about this. I think it was with Garrett. And I said like you probably want to keep this match away from the Becky AJ match. Like you have them on different nights because I don't think you want this overshining that one. I think it can, and so like maybe even have the two women's title matches on the same show. I normally they wouldn't do that, but I think in this case it might make sense to do that, just because I don't think the Jade Rhea match is going to be long, and this can be an actual long match and almost something of a show stealer because both those women can really go. And I did like Liv getting in some promo in Spanish where she talked about her mom. I don't know what she said. They didn't translate it, but that's what got Stephanie out there. So it must have been not nice. And yeah, it was like I said, I'm like you. I like the physicality between them. There's a lot of intensity. I do feel I'm a little bit worried that the fans are going to churn on Stephanie in Vegas. And they'll be
Mm.
like popping for Liv if she wins the title. But maybe they know that and they're okay with that because oh, she called her mama a whore. Wow.
Yes.
That's not nice.
No, that's why Stephanie
I
came
mean,
out there. It was on
yeah.
site
I
when you
mean, it could
saw.
be true, like, but I mean,
Wow.
it's I don't know. I don't know her mom, but but I mean, even if it is, you don't need to tell people.
No. Well, now you're reminding me of Nikita Lyons on NXT 2.0
Yeah,
when she proudly said her mom was a groupie.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
well,
yeah.
that's a badge of honor you want to have. So, yeah.
We my family and I went to Cuba a few like years and years ago, like it was for our 20th anniversary, and we just had our 35th. And so it was and there was like a woman who was, she was a lady of the night, and she had a daughter, and our kids were playing with her daughter while she was working. And and then so we were saying when we were planning to go back to Cuba this year, it's like, oh, maybe her daughter's a whore now. That's what one of my
Wow.
kids said. It's just, you never know. It's family business.
I don't know
Never
how
know
I could
what you're gonna get when
possibly,
you get me on the show.
you know, I never know what I'm gonna get, but I have to rely on Curry Head to
Yeah.
provide me some levity by asking a very serious question to get us back on track. Do you feel like the booking of WrestleMania feels too rushed? tonight they definitely threw some things out there that was abrupt, I will say, because they like, we have very limited time. Prime example of that ladder match for the IC title, qualifying matches. We did imaginary bouts on main event.
No,
Okay.
yeah, I watch main event every week. It's never been mentioned. I mean, all those people have won matches in the last
Yes.
couple of weeks. So,
Yes.
I mean, this is like AEW retconning here.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like
Using
they're
main
gonna go
event
back
as
in and edit
canon.
the commentary to pretend that they were qualifying matches.
Yes. The
Yeah.
fact that in the year 2026, we're using main event as canon,
Yeah.
to say we have booked a 5-way for this championship match. We had a series of qualifying matches on main event that we did not advertise in advance to let you know this is what we came up with. They tried it, but hey, they said it's better than us running through these lame ass tournament matches on television heading into
Yeah.
WrestleMania. Let's just get it out the way right now. And you know what? It's wrong. Felt
Okay,
like Tony Khan
no,
booked
no,
WrestleMania.
because Tony Khan would have just announced the match and we wouldn't even know who's in it until the match starts. Because we had a 21-man battle royal in the last pay-per-view that we didn't know anybody that was in that match, including the person who won. So yeah, no. And okay, so his original question, does it feel too rushed? I mean, obviously the Gunther Seth match and the Penta match were just thrown out there this week. That said, it is 3 weeks away. Like this was the first week, so we have 2 more weeks to build. And so it's not like they did this on the go home show. And it's not like we don't have 8 to 10 other matches that they have been building that they so yeah, like I would say it's only rushed in the sense that if you knew, if you're reading the Wrestling Observer or Fightful or wherever you get your wrestling scoops from in January and you were looking at potential WrestleMania cards and maybe like a lot of these matches weren't on there, you would say, okay, it's rushed. But if you're just watching and you're like a normal fan who just watches every week, like I don't think most of the card has been rushed. Like, we've known about Oba and Brock since Rumble. We've known about Becky and AJ since like Survivor Series, maybe even before that. Rhea and the Rhea match and the Cody match, that's been since Elimination Chamber. Cody and Roman, we've known about since the Rumble. So I mean, that like most of these matches have had a lot of build. It's just filling out the card that has been, the stuff that's been kind of thrown together. But even some of that, like the multi women's match, like that one, we've kind of had an idea that this was probably going to happen for months now. Trick and Sammy has been one that they've been, God, since Trick's been called up to the main roster, they've probably interacted every single week. So yeah, I no, I don't think it's been rushed. But obviously a couple of the matches that they added tonight were.
Yeah. I think overall they've had like an idea of where they wanted things to go. And they just threw some things out there tonight at lightning speed to say,
Yeah.
here you go, let's do it. And I'm like, okay, let's go. You want to
Yeah.
just get us there? Fine. You still have 2 weeks to sell me on a couple of things, and I'm all set. And Curryhead wants to clarify what I mean by this is we know the major matches. I'm talking
Yeah.
about the rest of the card. Feels like you're just throwing it together last minute. And what I mean last minute, I mean WWE last minute. And tonight, I do feel like, for instance, that ladder match was like thrown together out of nowhere. Gunther and Seth thrown together because probably they got the medicals on Braun Breaker sometime today, and they said he was a no-go. And then you have to go with what you now have, which is Gunther versus Seth at WrestleMania. But by and large, I think that everything else has had a destination to get to where we needed to go. But it does feel a little bit rushed tonight, especially, but they have 2 weeks to really submit some things, get it nailed down. And there are still some outlying matches that still need to be booked for WrestleMania. The Usos, I Show Speed, the Vision winning the tag team titles, LA Knight. They're trying to fit as many people on the card as
Kit and
possible.
Jelly Roll are doing.
That too. So it's like they have to basically make sure you have enough matches for both nights. They might go 8 and 8, which I'm totally fine with, to fill out the cards for both nights, and especially hour one. How do you want to present that to ESPN2 and the mothership for night two as well? So they have some tinkering to do, but by and large, outside of a couple of matches tonight, the matches we thought were going to happen were advertised and they were made official.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I think he's going to, Curry had says I Speed's going to team with Danhausen. I think if anything, they'd be on opposite teams, but I hope that Danhausen's not going to wrestle. Like, I'd rather see Speed wrestle than Danhausen, to be honest with you. But, yeah, I agree with everything you just said there. And yeah, I'm fine with the build. I mean, there's been better builds. There's been worse builds, and this has been, it's been fine. Again, you can pick apart certain matches, but overall, I think it's been fine.
Yeah, if they do Speed and Danhausen, I will say this. I think that Speed will absolutely show out.
Oh yeah.
I
It's just
believe it.
Danhausen's not very good. That's the
He's not
problem.
very good, but he will
Yeah.
do enough. He'll do
Yeah.
enough. And I think Speed, he might mess around and really get over. I saw the training footage from the PC. I like what I see. He's clearly in shape to do something at WrestleMania. And Logan Paul, if this guy clears you in terms of athleticism, be afraid.
Yeah.
Be afraid. If he outshines you in hops, skill set, I'm like, okay, we might have another hopper on our hands. We shall see. But let's get to, speaking of the women's division and the women's tag team titles, it was Nia Jax and Lash Legend versus Bayley and Lyra Valkyria for the women's tag team titles. God bless Bayley and Lyra, because they got the best from Lash and Nia before what happened at the end. They actually got the crowd into it. Midway through, they were pulling together a pretty good match. Lash's power spots were very good. Nia was slow in spots, but when she needed to be present, she was there. Lyra and Bayley were ring generals, and they carried and they delivered. And then we had the Bella twins and Charlexa come out there, and we had a melee for a DQ. And the fans went from, this match is kind of good, to, we don't care about all of this. The spots, the fighting was very sloppy to me, very disorganized. It was heatless. But now we know it will be a fatal four-way between these four teams at WrestleMania for the women's tag team titles. And I feel like this is a match tailor-made for Bayley and Lyra to get the full redemption from last year's WrestleMania. Because let's remember, Becky Lynch phantom attacked Bayley backstage, took her out, took her place, and therefore Lyra and Becky won the championships for a night. But now you get to retell the story of Bayley and Lyra working their way back up to this moment to redo it and to win these titles. That's the only outcome that makes sense to me at WrestleMania. Anything else to me would be stupid.
Yeah, I mean, if it is those four, like, is that official? Did they announce that? I might have missed that.
Yes, it is official.
Okay. Yeah, because I thought, like, I was thinking they might even add a couple more teams, but if they said it's official, that probably is what the match is. And honestly, that's kind of disappointing that it is these four. I mean, it'd be great if Lyra and Bayley won. That should happen. But like that leaves some good teams that aren't like where's the Kabuki Warriors? Where's like Io? Like, what's Io doing? Like, she might be the best wrestler on the roster, and like looks like she doesn't even have a match. So unless they're gonna do some sort of like maybe she teams up with the Kabuki Warriors. Like, no, that doesn't make sense. I was thinking like with Judgment Day women, but no, because Liv's got a match, obviously. So I guess it has to be Lyra and Bayley. Although if I was putting money on it, I might feel like the Bellas are going to win, just because that might be the reason that they brought them back, was that so they could get a tag team title reign under their belts before they retire again. So, yeah, it should be Lyra and Bayley, but my money's with the Bellas, even though I think that would be terrible.
I enjoyed the Bellas. I do, but they signed a 2-year contract. They have 2 years to win these belts. So
they signed a 2-year. Oh my God.
They did.
Oh
they did. So we have time. We don't have to anoint them. We don't have to
be brand ambassadors or something.
Well, there'll probably be that in 2 years, but in the meantime, they did sign a 2-year contract, and
Oh,
they don't have to win this year. They can win later in the year, but I would love to see Bailey and Lyra get this match. And as you said, I think the peak for what I wanted, which was the TLC match, has passed. When we
yeah.
had the teams such as the Kabuki Warriors, we had Rhea and Io as a team. We have Charlexa, we have Naya and Lash. It's like we've
Julie and
passed the peak.
Kiana.
Exactly. We've
Yeah.
passed the peak. We've passed the peak, sadly. And now we have this fatal 4-way match to me, which is a little underbaked. The chemistry is going to be interesting. What I will say that I have complete confidence in is that Charlotte and Bailey will be present because when they work together, they just go extra hard
Yeah.
in these
And
matches.
Lash is very good.
Yes, for her level of experience, I
Yeah.
don't doubt what she can do. Lyra is going to be great. I have no issue with Brie. Nikki is hit and miss for me. I just want her to have a good night and be on. And Naya, let us pray because
Well,
some nights she can be
Bree just
great.
goes Bree mode and does a jump, and like that's I don't think much of Bree either. Like, I'll be honest with you. Like, I'm not like don't get me wrong. Like, I mean, they never have been very good. The problem is like before they were average, but now like average is so much better than it used to be that that's why they look so much worse. Like, they're not actually worse than they were in their prime. The problem is that everyone else is so much better.
Yeah,
And that's why they stand out now
yeah,
as being, not up to the quality of the rest of the women.
yeah. I agree. Boy, I just hope that Nikki shows up and just has a clean match. That's all I can hope for. And
Yeah,
then
they
Naya
can
shows
just
up.
come in, do their spots, and
Yeah,
Lash and Bailey and Charlotte can do the majority of the carrying of the match.
yeah. Curry had notes it'll probably be Io versus Asuka. Might be Kyrie at WrestleMania to the Triple Joshi match, which I'm all
Mm,
for at
yeah.
WrestleMania. That has been teased. Just let them go out there for 15 minutes and work a stiff match. I'm here for it. He also asks, what is Julia going to do at WrestleMania? Well, I'll tell you this, Curry Head. After what I saw on SmackDown between Julia and Tiffany Stratton, I don't need to see that
No.
again.
Maybe there's your answer right there. Maybe they do, you talk about Joshi, maybe it's Julia, Io, and Asuka. Triple
And
threat.
Kyrie, let's do a
Yeah,
fatal four
forward.
way.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be a
Oh my
show
god.
stealer. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it
Yes.
doesn't make any sense, because they're
No,
all different brands, but who cares? It's Mania.
Paul, we've reached the point of who cares at this point in
Yeah.
terms of why
Luther
things
just
happen.
showed up. Like,
Like,
I
at
got
this
no
point,
match, you got no match, let's do this. I mean,
exactly.
yeah.
At this point, we have reached a portion of the WrestleMania build where nothing makes sense. Let's do it anyway. Okay.
Yeah.
As I said, after what I saw with Julia and Tiffany, I don't need to see that again.
No.
I have no desire to see that. So we can just keep it pushing.
No, and although that's probably what the plan is, but
Oh,
we don't need to see it.
no, we
No.
have seen the evidence. No, oil and water is
Yeah.
that of what I saw, and it was bad. Unless they
Sadly,
can fix
Tiffany's kind of
it.
checked out, isn't she? Like, she's talking about
Yeah.
Hollywood and yeah. And I'm like, yeah, maybe you could go. Yeah.
Yeah, if your heart's not in it, I will say
Yeah.
this. The day that your heart is not in it is the day that you need to say adios amigos
Yeah,
because
and then you can come back in 3 years and
mhm,
get a pop at the Royal Rumble and
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Because if you're not present, you cannot be here. And it's a detriment when you're not working the house shows, and that's no fault of her own. But when that is not available to you, and then you deliver performances like that, and you're possibly mentally checked out, that is a recipe for disaster.
Hey, the first Tiffany in WWE, that was her name, right?
Yes.
And she left to go do acting, and then she ended up coming back and becoming a pretty decent wrestler in TNA. So maybe
Yeah.
that could be this Tiffany too.
Yeah.
Taryn
Yeah.
Terrell,
Yeah.
Drew's wife,
Yeah.
first wife. Yeah.
Oh,
In
who's
the long
back?
departed Trem, she
Yeah.
had a memorable guest run on that show.
Yeah. Curry Head
Yeah.
is saying, I think her heart's
Yeah.
not in it since the
No.
public breakup. And I'm not being funny when I say that. And I know that you're not. I
And her
kind of
ex
feel the
is
same way.
way more over than she is, which
Yeah.
probably hurts too
Yeah.
on some
Yeah.
level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rough out here in these streets when you go public.
And the other part of that is, I mean, you probably now have to book around the fact that you can't really have her and Charlotte in programs together
No.
after everything that happened last year, and they're on the same brand. So I think, right?
Yeah, they're on the same
Yeah, yeah.
brand.
I'm never sure with Charlotte. So, but yeah, no, they're SmackDown. So I mean, yeah, she's in a weird spot,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Yeah,
I think it might be time for her to go on a hiatus.
yeah.
Because
Even
when
if it's like
Bianca
6
comes back,
months.
yeah,
Yeah.
when Bianca comes back, you're gonna be completely overshadowed.
Oh
So
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, and then yeah, the absence makes the heart grow fonder
yes, go
on
away.
both ends. On both ends.
Yeah, yeah. I think if your heart's not in it, let's just check on out. Do
Yep.
you do Hollywood for a bit and come back when you're ready. That's kind of where
Yep.
I'm at right now. But let's get on with the show with Penta versus Kofi Kingston for the Intercontinental Championship. I thought this match was solid for what it was.
Mhm.
Kofi still has it, nearly 20 years in the game as a wrestler in WWE. How time flies. Penta is a great IC champion so far. The crowd loves him. They are biting on every near fall and everything that he does. And a highlight for me was Kofi catching Penta with a trouble in paradise in midair, which was gnarly for a near fall. And then Penta counters with a Mexican destroyer to retain the championship. And then we get the announcement that we will have a ladder match at WrestleMania involving Penta and the following men: Dragon Lee, Javon Evans, Rusev, and JD McDonough from the Judgment Day. According to Michael Cole, they had qualifying matches on main event, which is a lie, but we're going to roll with it because they did have matches, but they weren't qualifying matches on main event.
I'm not positive that JD McDonough has had a match on main event. I watch that every week. I'm just looking it up now. Yeah, no, he has not had a match on main event in a long time. I'm like back over. JD McDonough defeated Akira Tozawa January 20th, 2025. So he won a match 3 months before last year's WrestleMania to qualify for this year's WrestleMania.
That is the evidence they went on.
Yeah, yeah. Because I didn't even remember the names, and I was looking at. I remember last week's main event, Apollo Crews won, and I'm like, is he in this 4-way? It's like, no, we're not
No.
putting Apollo Crews, even though him and Matt Cardona just teamed up to beat Fraxium, believe it or not.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. I mean, is this one final, or can they add people to it?
They said, I feel like they said it was final, but they said the field so far.
Okay, so because I feel like they could add Royce Keys to this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
that
could.
and maybe so use Ray Phoenix, Dragon Lee, JD McDonough, and Penta, and who else? Who did I miss?
Rusev is in there.
Rusev, right? Rusev was the
Yeah.
other one. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty good actually. You could probably just leave that alone. Rusev can be the base, and everyone else can
Yes.
bounce around off him. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah. I mean, we
Javon
haven't
and
seen Rusev, and that's another one. Like, he hasn't been on main event. Like,
no
they're talking about. They're just liars. Unless maybe they taped it this week and it's going to air on Thursday. That's possible.
to justify it because the last thing
Yeah, except that's still lying. Like, I mean, he's telling you about matches that haven't even aired yet. They were qualifying for a match that Penta just made. Yeah, no.
And
I'm
how
not
does
buying
Rusev
this.
qualify after losing to Obafemi in minutes on Monday Night Raw? How do you qualify?
I don't know.
Lord,
Same way JD McDonough qualified by winning a match 15 months ago.
Yes, that was
Yeah.
his entry in, but
Yeah.
it should be a great match. I'm all for
Yep.
whatever Javon is going to do.
Oh,
Dragon
Javon was the
Lee,
other one.
yeah.
Right. Oh, he's not been on main event.
Yes, he
Like,
has. Yes, he has.
not
He
recently.
yes, he has. He
Has he?
fought Dragon Lee very recently
I gotta
in a
look
great
this up
match.
too. On main event.
Yes,
I think that was at least a month ago.
it was a few weeks ago.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, Dragon Lee. Oh no, it was March 9th. Okay, you're right.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Dragon Lee. Yeah,
That
that
is
was a great match. Yeah.
yes. The Phantom qualifying match apparently that we did not know at the time.
Yeah. He also beat El Grande. Oh no, that was on Raw. Okay, never mind. Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked here. I just watched this. God, yeah. It was the only match that week actually on Main Event.
Yeah.
Main Event now available on YouTube for people
Yes.
in the United States. So everybody can watch it. It's a quick watch. It's like 20 minutes,
Yeah.
20 to 30 minutes every week on Thursdays, and then available on demand after that. So
Glad we're not getting geo blocked anymore. And Curry, yes, even you can get a qualifying match at
yeah,
WrestleMania.
I'll wrestle you.
Fire up the 2K26 and get in the ring and have a battle for it.
No. Actual match.
An
Actual match.
actual match. Okay.
We're bumping.
Okay.
But I need that cherry moonshine first.
All right. And then, of course, you have Brock Lesnar coming out. He's ready to fight,
Mhm.
apparently. And Paul Heyman is making excuses, saying, well, the first time he was preoccupied. The second time, he just wanted to talk. He wasn't dressed to compete. Tonight, he's dressed to fight. And Brock is like, give me this microphone. Oba Femi, get your ass out here. Let's do this thing. And Oba comes out. The fans go crazy. And Adam Pearce, the biggest heel in NYC, says, not on my watch. I can't give you people what you want. I have to protect my match at WrestleMania, as Paul does the Oba Femi dance down the ring in his chair, which I love right now. And so Oba proceeds to just run through the Rena security guys. He flings one guy in the air, spins him like a spin top, like a spin cycle on wash. And I was like, sir, that was insane. And so Brock is like, fuck. So Oba is just taking his time, circling the ring, making Brock Lesnar wait for him. And when the time comes for both guys to go face to face, eye to eye, Paul Levesque, Triple H is out there to say, I must protect this main event of WrestleMania. I must intervene. I must put my body on the line and say, no, we cannot get physical tonight. And both guys do stand down. Brock is a little hairy out there, throwing the steel steps around, takes a 5 Simpsons a message, and Oba is held back by Paul. It really speaks to how much they love Oba for him not to get laid out by Brock in week 3. There is still 2 weeks to go into WrestleMania. Will Brock get his lick back before then? I don't know. But the energy in that building when Oba was out there was incredible. And the people wanted to see him get his hands on Brock. And they were denied and they were pissed off. But at the same time, I had a smile on my face the entire time because I am looking forward to this match at WrestleMania so much. If Oba does not win, y'all don't want to see me during a post show. You really don't.
The the Oba coming to the ring was the best. Like the way he just mowed through these security guards. I've never seen anybody do that better. Like, I'm probably exaggerating, but I mean, they offered zero resistance. And they tried. It's just, this was Oba. When he got in the ring, the fans chanted "Holy shit!" Just at the idea of the two of them in the ring at the same time and on opposite corners. And Brock, they cut to him a couple of times, and he showed fear. And you've never seen that from Brock, like, ever. And it was subtle, but it was there. You had to be looking for it. And I mean, that to me, it just kind of shows like how little you need to do to get that reaction, and how you can put somebody over by just like a look, and it was similar to, it was completely different, but like similar to how he put over Keith Lee, back in the day when, look at this guy. But in this case, it was like he didn't even say anything. He just looked at him and he's like, oh shit, what have I got myself into? Like that was kind of look he had. And it's usually the other way around. People look at Brock and have that look. And I think Brock, the character, the person, has never been in that position in his life where he has been scared of the person that he's across the ring from. And he showed that today. And then it was like he had no problem having that fight broken up, and he got out of there as quick as he could because he did not want any piece of Oba. And I thought that was great. And I'm not sure, this may have been the last advertised appearance of Brock. I'm not positive of that, but if it is, like, we may not see them again until Mania, and that might be great. You know what I mean? Like, because I don't know if they can do this another week. And
Yeah.
this was the perfect place to do it because that crowd was hot and it felt like this was the WrestleMania main event. Like, they did a great job with Punk and Roman in the main event segment. They didn't do a great job with Cody. Randy wasn't even there. And this is, I mean, at worst, it's the number 3 match, but I think to a lot of people, this is the number 1 match of the weekend.
Yeah, I think so too. And as you said, Brock selling fear and Paul talking all that shit, talking about when Brock is out there and the other guy sitting in front of him, he's going to pee on himself and he's going to leave a puddle. Like Oba didn't do that, but Brock did, probably figuratively speaking, because he was ready to back down from that fight immediately. And I am so looking forward to this match. I think Brock will be on the go home show for WrestleMania. I do
Okay.
think that will
Okay.
be the last appearance. They can table this week in all honesty, because you want to save this for WrestleMania. And the thing that's going to get this crowd is when Brock hits an F5, and he will, Oba's going to kick out at 1. And
Yeah.
when that happens, that crowd is going to go insane. And I'm here for it. And it lays the foundation for what we're going to talk about in just a moment, about what they are probably going to do for later in the year involving Brock Lesnar. But what he must do at WrestleMania is take that L to Obafemi. If you want to make somebody in a night, that's how you do it. The fans are ready for this new star to be born. He's ready for this moment. Crown him. Do not wait.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, this has been handed to you. I mean, I shouldn't say it's been handed to you. I mean, they found the guy, they developed him, they trained him, they brought him up, they kept him down in NXT, maybe a little bit too long, but now that he's up, I mean, he's over as hell. Him and Trick are both like as over as you could possibly hope. And I mean, again, we've said this before, it's fortuitous because not only do they need new stars, they need new black stars. Let's be
Yes.
honest. And they got 2 of them, at least. And and yeah, they'd have to be it'd be booking malpractice, honestly. That term gets thrown around a lot, but it doesn't apply anymore in here. Like, he has to beat Brock. And then, yeah, I assume you're alluding to like Brock and Gunther. And that could be where the Seth tie-in comes in,
Mhm.
maybe Seth and Gunther have like a moment of respect when their match is done, and then somehow that plays into like Gunther joining forces with Seth against the Vision, and then that's how he ends up Brock being he's not part of the Vision, but he's definitely associated with them, and that could be how you get to Brock and Gunther at SummerSlam or unless it's Brock that turns, and
Yeah.
then you keep Gunther as a heel, and he retires him in his home state at SummerSlam.
Ooh, 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 Paul, you cooking. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of the main event of last year's Stand and Deliver all having matches at WrestleMania with Javon, Trick, and Oba. It would
Oh
be
yeah.
amazing if all 3 of them won their matches during the WrestleMania debuts.
Yeah. It sucks for Mello, but
Yeah,
he'll
it
have his time.
does.
Yeah.
It does. It does. I hope that he finds his way on the card. If not, Paul Levesque, you and I got to talk, because what's really good? Because this
He's
is
been
unacceptable.
holding the fort down for SmackDown
Yes.
this year. Yeah.
The glue holding it together with great matches.
Kind of like AJ years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was it? What did he call it? The face that runs the place?
Yes. He kept
Yeah.
those lights on for sure. He
And now
did.
and they got Mello doing that, and then they just took the title off him. So
Yes.
yeah,
I hope
sucks
there's a
for him. But
misunderstanding.
honestly, Trick and Sammy's a bigger match.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
I just hope that Melo's rewarded, Ilya's rewarded too. If they can have a match at WrestleMania without a title, I'm fine with that. If we're going balls out, let's do it. If we have to do what we got to do just to have him on the card, I'm fine with that. But we shall see how they play it in a couple of weeks of WrestleMania. Then we get to Paul Heyman coming out, and he is someone that did not look at his Gmail today, as Adam Pearce tried to tell him various times, hey, check your email. Did you read your email? Paul says, I'm all knowing, I'm all seeing. I don't need to read my email. And Adam Pearce is like, well, did you read the fact that the Boston PD dropped all charges against Seth Rollins last week? And did you read your email that Seth Rollins is medically cleared to compete? And then Paul's eyes go bug-eyed, like, what? And so Seth's music hits. Seth comes out, no more hood, no more mask. Thank God he's back in a tame suit by his standards, all black. He hits Paul in the back with the steel chair, goes to do more damage when Gunther pulls him out of the ring, puts him to sleep with a sleeper hold. And we have this match at WrestleMania, which is incredibly random, but here we are. I'm not mad at it because circumstances. Apparently, Gunther was supposed to face Rey Mysterio. Rey is out. Seth was supposed to face Braun Breaker at WrestleMania. Braun's hernia is not healing. I think he might have had a medical update today when he went to the arena at MSG, and the news was not good, probably. So they said, well, let's give these two guys a match at WrestleMania and let them just go out there and put on a classic. And I'm not mad at it. And I think that if Paul has made a deal with Gunther, then the end game already leads us to what Paul has suggested: Minnesota, SummerSlam, night 1 or 2, Gunther versus Brock. Brock has hinted that he does not have a lot of time left on this current deal with WWE. He might be retiring. That was the word from the moment he came back last year, is short term. And if you want to really retire him and send him on to glory in storyline, Gunther is your guy.
Yeah, absolutely. How did Gunther get busted open?
I have
Did you?
no idea.
Okay, yeah, because I saw like they showed the replay and like Seth was like thrashing around to try to get out of the sleeper. So maybe it was in the process of that like he was, because he was actually like, it looked real, like the way he was trying to get out of it. Like, I'm not saying it was real, obviously, but like he was acting very well trying to get out of it, and so it must have been something there where Gunther was trying to avoid all these random shots that Seth was throwing, and he maybe hit the side of a table or something. But yeah, he was cut open pretty good, bleeding off the side of his face when afterwards. But it was fine. We'll probably get a promo from him next week explaining why he did what he did. Seth will attack him, and then they'll have a brawl, and then the following week we'll get promos from both of them hyping up their match at Mania, and that's that. And then that's as good as we could have hoped for. And then we wait 6 months and see on Unreal when somebody comes up with the idea at the board table. Hey, wait a minute. Seth's opponent is injured. Gunther's opponent is injured. Why don't we just put them against each other? And Paul Levesque could go, that's a great idea. Way to go, Ryan. And there we go.
While he's on the Zoom call via satellite.
Yeah,
Great idea, guys. I'm busy.
And then Seth walks into the room and he's like, what do you got for me? Gunther. And Seth, okay, let's do it. I don't know.
I just know that if we saw footage right now, that WrestleMania vision board is fucked. Yeah. It is all over the place. Yeah. Oh, Lord. Yeah. So, yeah, I enjoyed the segment. It was a surprise. I was like, ooh, Gunther, Seth. They can have a great match at WrestleMania. I'm all for that. It builds to possibly Gunther and Brock at SummerSlam as well when the time comes. Give me that as well. So it's a 2-for-1 special for me, and I'm all for that. As we get to our next match, which was Io Sky versus Raquel Rodriguez. Io Sky losing on Monday Night Raw does not make me feel great. I did not like that at all. The match was okay for what it was. It was all about Asuka trying to get Kairi to cost Io the match, and Io did a crazy dive on Asuka, gnarly landing, and she tells Kairi, you can stand up for yourself. You got this. You don't need Asuka holding you back. You can stand on your own 2 feet. That distraction allows Raquel to do the Tejana bomb on Io to get the dub. I'm like, for what? What is this building to? Nothing. Not a thing.
No, I mean, I'm sure, like, I can't see any way Raquel Rodriguez is on the Mania card. So, unless they're going to do like, Andre or, a Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal or whatever it is, Mae Young Battle Royal, maybe she's going to win that. I don't know, but that would be on SmackDown probably. And Io losing, like, so Io loses and she's probably going to end up in a Mania match. Okay. Yeah. That's not very good.
No, no.
Yeah.
But
I mean, the match was disappointing. It was, it's not very often you have a Neo match that isn't like the best match on the show, and might have been the worst. Maybe that opener, but I mean they're all kind of the same. The Penta match was probably the best match in the show, and the other three were like kind of the same.
Yeah, a lot of run-ins, lots of
Yeah,
interference, very
yeah,
pattern that way tonight. And then we close the show with Roman Reigns in denim, which was like different. Denim
yeah.
Jordans, denim. Let me say it again, denim. And then CM Punk comes out there and they said, listen, we're not going to talk about hating each other. I'm not going to call you old. We're just going to fight. And Punk had his wrists and hands taped up. He was ready to go. And they went to fighting. And I was like, cool. We don't need to talk. Let's get the fighting. Let's get the scrapping. Really good brawl. And then we have WWE officials trying to stop a fight because they have to preserve these main events, Paul. They have to preserve the integrity of these main event matches at WrestleMania. But Roman and Punk keep going at it. And eventually, Punk lands the GTS on Roman Reigns, and then he deadlifts him up for a power bomb through the announce table to wrap up the show. He's going manic and crazy, laughing his head off, being very sinister. And Michael's like, get him out of here. Do you see this? He's a little off his rocker. I love it. I love unhinged CM Punk. Roman is folded up like an accordion at ringside. So they said, we don't have to talk. Let's just get physical. Let's sell this via physicality and violence. And I thought, well, that's the way you sell the match. That's the way you send the message that we are the main event of WrestleMania 42.
Yeah, I thought it was right. I mean, the only thing I would say against is like, well, we just saw them fight. What are we waiting for now? Like what are we paying for? Or, like we've already seen it. So that's the only I thought was kind of weird because it's like I kind of want to see the promo battles and then the fight. Now we've got the fight, so I don't know what else we got left, but it was good. It was interesting, and the fact that Punk got the better of him here probably means he's losing at Mania.
Mm-hmm. I
Which is
sense
fine.
that too. I
Yeah.
sense it as well. Good brawl, but they still have 2 more weeks to verbally sell it, and they have to do the final point of it all at the end of the show. So I'm looking forward to how that plays out on Monday Night Raw as we inch towards the end of the road to WrestleMania, slowly but surely. As we quickly get down to some SmackDown business, we alluded to this earlier that Carmelo Hayes lost his United States Championship to Sami Zayn. As Paul, as you know, the path to WrestleMania is very limited, that
Yeah.
you can't find your way to WrestleMania. I mean, Sammy had no path, according to Nick Aldis. Like, he says, I don't have room for you. I don't know what I can do for someone that main evented WrestleMania 3 years ago. I don't have space. So Sammy made his opportunity, called his shot, won the title with an assist from Trick Williams, who was at ringside. And now we have Sami Zayn versus Trick Williams for the U.S. Championship at WrestleMania with poor, my dear sweet Mello, possibly iced out of the main event of this particular match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be the main event.
I
But
can dream, damn it. I can dream.
yeah, I know. No, I mean it does make sense. I mean, this is like Sammy and Trick is a match. I mean, it's funny because logically there was no spot for Sammy, but Trick has a spot. So I like it, that's not, if I'm Mellow, I'm probably upset about that. And I would think probably what's going to happen is Trick's going to win that title at Mania, and then maybe he's going to feud with Mello for the next, maybe I could see Trick putting an end to the open challenge. He's like, no, you guys got to earn a shot at Trick Daddy, and then that's how you end up, eventually. And then Carmelo's mad because he's upsetting the legacy at the time. Maybe even has Ilya go after him too, because Ilya and Trick, as I'm sure you remember, had some pretty awesome matches in NXT. So and Ilya's always brought out the best in Trick. Actually made him look better than I think he was back then. So yeah, I could see Trick winning, and then having the next 6 months of just having matches to get better and defending the title and being in a main event position on the television show, which would be good. And yeah, so it sucks for Mello for now, but he's got a role, and I think Triple H really likes him.
Yes, think so too. Hopefully, he's rewarded with something in WrestleMania. That's
Yeah,
my hope. Sucks to lose this title so close to WrestleMania, but clearly they see a bigger match with Sammy and Trick, and Sammy can give Trick a great match at
yeah,
WrestleMania. And clearly, the fans are going to be pro Trick. That's going to be the easiest match Sammy can do to lean into being a heel because
yeah.
Trick is going to be beloved that night whenever the match takes place at WrestleMania. I do hope that Melo finds his way there. And as you said, Ilya was a great opponent for Trick on NXT years ago, and they can tap into that once again whenever the time calls for it to even help Trick get more refinement on the main roster as a top tier star. They already see the vision. He is going to be a big time player in WWE, and how you do that is put him against great guys that can bring out the best in him as a worker.
Yep. Yep. Totally agree.
Yes. And then we have to talk about Jelly Roll. Now, Paul, I read your comments on Discord last week that Jelly Roll was great on SmackDown, played his role very well. I think that we had a little bit of Jelly Roll overload and oversaturation on SmackDown. We're on the road to WrestleMania, with all due respect. I denied to see Jelly Roll in multiple storylines and segments offering words of wisdom as if he's Oprah. I don't need that. It was a lot for him to be backstage, to have a match, to be in the main event angle with Randy and Cody. It was too much Jelly Roll. You don't want to have him dominate your show. I think it was a little bit too much praise the week before, saying, well, people loved him. Let's double down. No, less is more. And I thought that he was a little bit overexposed this week on WWE television.
No, I had the same comment this week. I like Jelly Roll. I'm a fan. I like his music. I think he's done a good job for the most part in WWE and the stuff he's been given to do. But this week there was just too much. Like, obviously, I think the being in the main event segment was important, and he's got whatever he's doing with Kit Wilson is, I'm sure, leading somewhere for WrestleMania. So if you want to put him in both of those segments, I suppose that's fine. But as you said, he was in just random segments, like just interacting with people. And I mean, it is refreshing to have like a real life celebrity, because Jelly Roll is a big star, and to have him be on the show and interacting with the undercard talent, like he clearly is a fan and watches the show, knows their names, knows their storylines. So that is refreshing, because most of the time, the celebrities are there for their segment and you're lucky if they remember the name of the person they're sharing a camera with, let alone, everybody else. So I did like that part, but again, yeah, it was just way too much. And WWE has a tendency to do that, and they're even doing it with Danhausen a little bit. Like, they're putting him on maybe a little bit more than they should, because he's, gets a reaction every time. And the crowd did react to him. So, I mean, there was that. Like, his match he might have been like the third most over guy on the show, behind Randy and Charlotte. Like, they were, let's go Jelly, like, in his match. And I mean, that was the other thing. That match with Kit Wilson went way too long. It was fine, but I mean, it could have been an email.
It could have been absolutely right on that.
Yeah.
So a little bit too much Jelly Roll. We'll see how they handle his appearances on SmackDown heading into WrestleMania. And that was SmackDown. Basically, we had Randy and Cody have a brawl that felt like it was in slow motion. RKO to Jelly Roll to wrap up the segment. We still need Cody to verbalize the why, the why we're here. And he has 2 SmackDowns to do it, essentially. Probably just the one to do it, but you do have 2 chances, maybe 3, to really hard sell this at WrestleMania, because right now Randy's not going to get booed. Plain and simple. No. Cody's going to have to embrace whatever it is he needs to embrace, just to realize you're not going to be the favorite here. You're going to have your fans, but on this night and maybe for future nights, it's going to be Randy getting over, and whoever is the extra voice in his ear and in his head is going to reveal itself for WrestleMania. And you're going to have to find a way to navigate that too, whenever the story ends after WrestleMania, potentially.
Yeah, I think that they actually know that Cody's going to get booed, and they're even leaning into it, because even that segment with Stephanie tonight, ended with Cody being booed after saying thank you to Stephanie, who had just slapped him. So I don't think that they thought that he was going to get cheered for that line. So, it is a step up from 2018 when they were fighting their fans and going deliberately booking to get the opposite reaction that was pretty obvious they were going to get. In this case, it feels like they're booking things to get the reaction they know they're going to get. So they could try to push Cody as a baby face and give him lines that are designed, but I mean, they know that they've figured out that it doesn't matter what they do, the fans are going to cheer Randy. So we'll tell our story. Like Randy's going to be like a vicious heel and Cody's going to be a heroic baby face, but we know the fans are going to boo Cody and cheer Randy. So we're going to give them things to do that's designed to get them the reaction that we know they're going to get. So it looks like we're controlling the audience, even though they're really not.
Yeah,
The
great
audience has
points.
decided Cody is the heel and Randy's the baby face. I don't care what your story is. That's what we're deciding. And WWE is now leaning into that. They're not going to tell a story where Cody is a heel, because when this is over, unless they want to turn him heel, and I suppose that's a possibility. But if the idea is once the feud with Randy's over, he's back to being a babyface, they don't want to tell a story that makes him a heel. So they're giving him little lines and little things to do that are going to get him booed. But at the end of the day, he'll go back to playing his regular role once this match with Randy is over.
Yeah, great points as well. We see how they navigate it heading into the heart of WrestleMania season. Looking forward to what happens on SmackDown this Friday. 2 SmackDowns to go before WrestleMania. We'll see what Cody has to say after his confrontation with Stephanie on tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw. Or will he avenge Jelly Roll? That's the more pressing question. Will he avenge his friend? We don't know. To be determined. But before we leave you all for this week, I want to touch briefly on NXT. We don't talk about NXT very much, but I do want to call out one segment, and it was the Sol Ruka Zarya segment from last Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
And I want to talk about it in the sense of I understood what they were trying to do, but my lord, they failed. And then Sol Ruka gave up on her promo when she stumbled, when she mentioned John Cena and his last night in WWE, the Saturday night's main event, John Cena's farewell match in WWE, when she mentioned all of the opportunities that she was given. When she tripped on that, that's when she gave up on the promo. And I was like, oh no, when you give up on the promo and you lose your train of thought, there goes the crowd. And it kept going and going and going like the Energizer Bunny. And Zarya came out there, and I thought that she was way more confident on the microphone, believed the material that she was saying. And when it was all said and done, she was deemed the one that was the wronged party that the fans wanted to get behind. So my advice to Soul, get the hell out of NXT as soon as you can before they really get you out of there in terms of booze, and just they would turn on you. Historically speaking, they would turn on you.
Yeah, I had forgotten about that. And yeah, you're not wrong. And this one is now this is like I was just talking about Cody and Randy. That's not what's happening here. Like they're trying to make Sol the babyface and trying to make Zarya the heel, and the fans are having none of it. And the bookers are not leaning into it. They're just, we don't care what the fans want. Sol's going to be the babyface. Zarya's going to be the heel. And the fans are saying, we don't care what your story is. We like Zarya. We don't like Sol. And yeah, she needs to get the hell out of there and go to the main roster where she's going to be the babyface that she's supposed to be. Because yeah, as soon as she starts hitting people with the Soul Snatcher on main event probably, but on Raw or SmackDown, people are gonna be cheering her, and she should be right up there with the EOs and the Baileys and Charlottes and all that within about 6 months.
Yeah, so we need to just do this at Stand and Deliver. Let that be your swan song. Get her out of there, because I do not want her trapped in that vortex for 6 months. Let's try her as a heel to see how dynamic she could be as a performer. Not F that. We can do that later in life. Get her out of there.
Zarya should just wax JC Jane for that title and go on like a rampage for like 6 months, and then you can call her up too.
Agreed. Just let's get through Saturday. That's the goal. Let's get through Saturday. Let them have a great match. The fans are gonna fan. Whatever they're gonna do, they're gonna do. Let's get Soul out of there.
they're in New York tomorrow night. So yeah, Zarya's getting cheered and Soul's
Yeah.
getting booed. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The go home show for Stand and Deliver, a show that is not completely put together yet. Because we
That's
still
pretty
have,
close.
it is close, but still, like you are putting together matches with 3 days notice, essentially.
Well, I'll take anything over the one they added last week.
Facts. I will
Yeah.
agree with you there. Lord, NXT, we will pray over thee. And one day I hope that I can talk about y'all again with enthusiasm and heart and compassion. But right now I have very little for that show. It has
Yeah,
worn
I'd
out.
rather at this point I'd rather watch NCIS Origins than
Wow.
NXT. Yeah.
I would rather watch Wild Cards on the CW than watch NXT, the Canadian import, which I am entertained by. I fell into that Twitter lore of the couple and their love hate relationship, and the guy keep going back to this girl and leaving my girl high and dry. Like, I'm intrigued now. Don't give me a love storyline that I can't have for 5 years or 30 years and watching SVU.
American Love Story, JFK and Carolyn Brissett. I'd rather watch that than NXT. We can do this all night.
Yes.
Anything
There are
with
better
Ryan Murphy
options.
and or Brad Falchuk producing it, I'm there.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. The
That's where we
Beauty.
are.
Yeah.
The Beauty. Oh, look at you shouting out all the shows.
Oh, I love The Beauty.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
So, as we have Paul here, before we
Yep.
go, it was a tradition for a long time that anytime that Paul was on the show, guilty pleasures, the thing that you know is wrong, but it's right to love and appreciate despite how wrong it might be. Is there a guilty pleasure out there for you in WWE,
And it
Paul?
has to be in WWE?
Anywhere, anywhere.
Okay. Then it's easy. Rosemary. This stuff that she's doing with her undead realm and these 7 deadly sins and bringing back all these TNA legends for these stupid segments. I should hate them, but I love them unironically. It's just the most ridiculous. The bunny Allie is with her in all these segments, and she thinks that it's just like normal, even though like they're in like the undead realm, and Rosemary is like trying to no sell it, and Allie's just like, "Hi, I'm Allie. How are you?" And it's like it's just so stupid, but it's stupid in the best way. So yeah, that is the very definition of a guilty pleasure. So
Yes, it
TNA
is.
Impact on AMC.
A guilty pleasure every week if you tune in.
Yeah.
Mine is Kit Wilson.
Oh God, yes. Yeah.
He's the best. He's leaned into this
Kit
gimmick.
Wilson.
Catchy song. They're gonna be singing at
Yeah.
WrestleMania. I'm telling
Although
you.
he did rhyme, a couple of his rhymes that he had this week were not good.
No.
He rhymed mother and lover
Yes.
and prophet and something that doesn't rhyme with profit. I can't remember what it was, but yeah. So little not so good with the rhymes, but he is. I love Kit Wilson.
He's
Absolutely
a
love
gift.
him. Yeah.
A gift. Making the best
Yeah.
out of a tough situation.
No,
But
it's a great situation.
it is for him.
He's like the male Chelsea.
He is. He is a male
Yeah.
Chelsea. And watch him get over. They appreciate people that take something and make it out of nothing. And
His song was charting in the UK a couple months ago.
Yeah. And when I heard the inspiration, like Jade, I love Jade from the UK. I said, clearly somebody is a Jade fan to be inspired with that beat and the song. So I caught it. I have a good ear.
Yeah, now they're going to change it next week.
No, unless you have Jade sing it for real.
Yeah.
Don't change it.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen.
Danhausen. If you made me go with WWE, I would have said Danhausen because
he is great too. He is.
Yeah, I hated when he popped out of that box. That was Elimination Chamber, right? Yeah, we buried that thing.
We
did. Every segment he's done since then has proven me wrong.
Yes,
so,
I'm happy.
Tonight was not great, but everything else, yeah.
But he's definitely achieved the dream, and he has made license to print money.
Yeah.
God bless him. He has lived the dream, and he's accomplished an amazing goal. You had a flop debut, and then you had an amazing re-debut backstage.
Yeah, and now he's a WWE Hall of Famer. He's a legend. He's a multi-billionaire. Yeah, it's awesome.
I love that.
And he's cursing people left, right, and center. And every time he curses them, that you get cursed, you're you're fucked. Like, I'm sorry. Like, do you see Miz on SmackDown?
Yes,
I've never seen
shoes,
him that disheveled.
red bottom shoes gone. Like,
Yeah.
dude, what up to your shoes?
Yeah. And his
So
hair, it
the
was like, he
hair,
looked like
yeah.
Kyle Fletcher with his hair.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Before the cut.
Yeah. Before the cut. Yeah.
Oh Lord. Alrighty. So that was fun times. I enjoyed this as always, Paul. Thank you
Yep.
for joining me as you filled in for Scott tonight on that road to WrestleMania, which has been a long, winding road.
Long and winding road. Yep.
It's been a, it's been a pleasure. We've made it. And we'll be back next week talking about Monday Night Raw, talking about SmackDown, talking about Stand and Deliver from NXT if they stood and delivered in St. Louis, Missouri to cap off their biggest show of the year in the Lou. We shall see how it all goes as we count down the days to WrestleMania 42 going down live in Las Vegas, Nevada. It should be a fun weekend in a couple of weeks' time. So until then, I want you to enjoy the rest of the week for WWE. Enjoy NXT if you can via Roblox tonight on the CW, followed by Send and Deliver this Saturday on YouTube, not Peacock. Let me say this again, not Peacock, YouTube or Netflix for international viewers. And of course, SmackDown going down live on USA as the road to WrestleMania winds down. So for myself and the one and only Paul Fontaine, that is a wrap for all things WWE. Thanks to everyone that joined us tonight in the live chat as well. We appreciate you for the conversation, the commentary, and your thoughts. And we'll be back next week. So until then, take care and bye-bye.